Good morning, team. Happy Friday. Hope we all have a fantastic week. Doing really well, staying on track, kicking goals, smashing the gym. So today we've got the walk and talks is back. All right, so we're out and about. I'm at home today. So I'm going to run through all the questions that have come through from this week. So getting out, getting a nice little step this morning outside. Weather's cool. It's good to see the rain come back in, everything nice and green. However, it has slowed things down with people and motivation. So obviously the weather gets cooler. We all want to stay at home, kick it in on those in the warm bed in the mornings. All right, so let's just make sure we keep accountable to ourselves and our goals and keep on track. And like I say, just got to get up and get it done. All right, so some awesome questions come through this week from everybody. We had about 10 that came through. Obviously, a couple of them, once again, they're very similar. It's very interesting to see how many people ask similar questions. So it's a trending thing of what people are actually looking to find out or having the same similar issues when it comes to health and fitness in the questions. So we'll jump straight into it. We had a question from Braden, which is his second time he's asked. So we missed the first one. So now we've got it in, and thank you, Braden, for obviously answering again. The question was based around gut health, knowing how to manage gut issues, how to know you've got gut issues, and really do what to do to prevent any further sort of intestinal digestion sort of gut related issues. So without doing a whole rant on how gut health works, what to do, and so to speak, I'll do a full post on a full breakdown of all the gut conditions, what to look out for, what to do. But as an overview, like I say, if you've got bloating, gas quite frequently, if you struggle with digestion in relation to eating food, constipation, diarrhea, you keep getting a lot of pain in that area around the digestive tract, you just don't stomach things well, then 100% you've got some gut issues, okay? So the best thing to do is obviously to get tested to see what's going on. Otherwise, you literally start the elimination process where you go back to the basics, you pull things out, put things in one at a time, see how you feel, see what you respond to. It's a time-consuming way, but like I say, it's not going to cost you to do like a $400 or $500 test to get a stool sample or something done. If you're in that position and you can afford it, then 100% that should be done. That way you'll get expert advice from the professionals in relation to really in-depth of what's going on internally. But like I say, if you just get regular bloating here and there, constipation or diarrhea, it's usually comes down to what you're consuming. So eliminating processed foods for the first one, cutting out as much sugar as you possibly can. Obviously that has a huge impact on digestion, not only overall, but yeah, it just impacts hugely on how our gut works and how it processes and moves everything. So increase fiber through obviously good leafy green vegetables, plenty of water. So make sure you're consuming enough water, good sources of protein. Guys, we know what we should be doing, what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating. We just need it to be reiterated, almost enforced a little bit harder on the people. It comes down to being lazy. Honestly, like most of the guys will reach for the packet food or the muesli bar because it's convenient, because it's quick. We need to sort of really if you're going to think you're not going to get issues, but you're going to consume these foods, then it's going to be either. So you need to be consciously aware of what you're consuming. Okay, so keeping up the water, eating nice, clean, green vegetables, fruit as well, helps the digestion move nice and through. And just focusing on what you're really putting into your mouth. So if you pick it up and you think that it's not good for you, it's probably not, okay? So if the packet, read the label, make sure that if you consume something and you feel bloated or digested, let's say 60 to 90 minutes after consuming, once it's really gone through the digestive tract and your digestive system's broken it all down, and you feel, let's say, bloated, pain, all that sort of stuff, chances are something that you've consumed is causing that inflammation. So you might have an intolerance to something, or you might consume something and then all of a sudden the skin starts to get irritated or whichever. So you've got some sort of intolerance to what you've eaten. Now, it's not necessarily going to be that meal at that time. It could have come from previous. So I tell guys, do a food diary, write down everything you eat, what time you ate it, how you felt, let's say 30 to 60 to 90 minutes afterwards. And then you'll get a really good idea of what foods you can. But obviously the tests that the guys do, it prints you out a list of what you're intolerant to, what to remove for a certain amount of time. And then once that time's done, once you eliminate, you can slowly increase them back in to see if it resets your gut microbiome as well. So apple cider vinegar, obviously guys recommend as well. So it helps alkaline, obviously acidify the levels in the pH levels in the gut. You can get pH piss on kits with your wee on them from the chemists, and that reads your pH levels within your gut as well. So a couple of little tools and that you can utilize. Pre and probiotics as well. So if you're susceptible to, let's say, food poisoning, I had a good chat with one of the ladies in at the gym the other day, Kelly. She's a nurse. We spoke about food poisoning. I've had a couple of bouts last year, and she obviously recommended probiotics as a good one as a prerequisite to keep on top of making sure the good biotics are in the body to help fight if you are susceptible to getting food poisoning. So so takeaway points: plenty of water. Make sure you're drinking lots of clean water. Lots of vegetables. Good, I'd say organic meat. If you're not a meat eater, obviously sticking to your clean protein sources and making sure you're monitoring that as well. So track everything so stress, keeping your stress low. So when everything gets tight, your nervous system gets bound up, you get all anxious, and you notice like you might not become as regular with the toilet. It's all that, everything sort of tightens up. So everything works in sync together. It's not one moving part by itself. It's one works well, the other one needs to work well as well. So they all need to play a part in relation to gut health. So making sure you stress, big one, lowering cortisol, nervous system, so your body can relax, do what it needs to do. And that way, like I say, everything will flow. And that's also essential, obviously, with weight loss as well. So making sure that you are keeping things moving. So you're not under eating, also you're not overeating. So it's finding that balance where you're eating enough for the body for it to need to do what it needs to do, to perform, to recover, to sleep well, to not be stressed out about when its next meal is going to be, and so to speak. So keep on point with those key ones. And if you've got any issues, like I say, either reach out or go and see professionals around sort of getting testing done. I know Jeremy at Holistic and Amanda at Inner Health are really good. They do all the inner health testing as well. So if you really want to know what's going on, you've got the funds, please go and get it done. It'll take a lot of guesswork out of it too. Otherwise, if you know you're eating shit, cut it out. So, and that honestly, that'll probably fix your issues, is stop eating crap, to the fast and fun fact of it. So that one gets out of the way. Hope that answers your question. If not, fill it on through more detail. But yeah, that's just a basic one. Otherwise, we'll cover it more in a bit of a post later on next week. Get them in. Had Olivia asked about a one-time off binge from, like, let's say a blowout of a meal. Is it going to be detrimental to your goals, your results, all that sort of stuff. Now, the short and sharp term of a once-off binge, if it's, let's say, one meal that you've had where you've gone out and you might have had, McDonald's or KFC, an off-track, unhealthy meal, no, it will not impact your long-term goals. It might impact you short-term for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is, how long it takes for your body to get rid of the shit, in a sense, to then get back on track. So if it does happen, like I say, don't beat yourself up about it. We preach this all the time. We're only human. We can only focus on what we can focus on. Yes, we do have times where we're going to just, I'm going to go get this. I'm going to go do that. So, like I say, if it happens, move on, get back on track, back onto your good food, smash the water in, ride the shit wave out where you feel like crap. Because if you do eat quite healthy and then go into having a unhealthy, bad meal, you know the feelings of that. So it's not going to ruin your long-term goals as long as it doesn't happen regularly on a regular basis. So in the short term, Olivia, no, it's not going to affect you. Only probably short term where you might feel a bit sluggish from eating it or have a bad sleep or have some gut issues or something. But the body's pretty good at pushing. If you're healthy, it's pretty good at turning back into normal. So I hope that one answers your question on there. So guys, if you've got any more questions, make sure you put them in the comments below as well, so then I can filter them on for next week's walkout. Next week we'll be walking out, probably, if the weather's good, back down the beach where we love getting some fresh air, some fresh salt air. But today we're in the country air, so we're at home. So yes, another question that came on through was in relation to training tempo and obviously negative, positive contractions of the movement. What is best for what in relation to how slow you should lift something, how fast? So it's a really good question. And it's probably more based for those intermediate to advanced lifters, whereas the beginner ones, it's just literally about getting in, moving some weight, safely feeling good. There's no hard and fast rule when you're starting off with how quick you should move something, as long as you're not being an absolute dick and being jerky and looking like you're going to hurt yourself. If you're in control, that's all we want to see, is controlled movement when you're starting off with. So you really want to make sure you're contracting the muscles that you want to be working, getting that mind to muscle connection of, okay, yep, I'm working my back, so I'm feeling that when I pull back and I squeeze. The biceps obviously as well, so you're lengthening and contracting, you're feeling where you're supposed to be working. If you're doing a movement that's focusing on shoulders, but you'll feel it in your glutes or whatever, you know, you're obviously doing something a little bit wrong where you're not feeling it where you should be. So that's when it comes down to like getting the help you need, getting the guidance, getting people to show you how to correctly do something. And it's not all about, you know, busting someone's ass in the gym, pushing them to their limits, and, you know, not even caring about form and it's getting sloppy, but yay, awesome, they did 20 chin-ups or a PB on this, you know. They're going to be irrelevant to what you're wanting to achieve. And yeah, we all love to hit a PB, but if you're doing it wrong, like, you're going to do more damage than good in the long term. Like I say, if you're a weightlifter, your goal is to lift as much weight, then that's perfectly fine. That's your goal. But if you want to change how you feel, change how you look, you know, your body composition, your physical appearance, we want to sculpt, and it's more of a bodybuilding approach. So it's making sure we are getting the most out of what we're doing when we train. So we've been contracting a muscle, we're really squeezing it and we're really working it. So it's, you know, you're going to do more effort to work the right muscle groups than do more effort to work multiple muscle groups in one movement. And that way you're gonna feel good, you're gonna train safely, you'll train smart, and you'll get a lot more out of it in long term as well. So less injuries, all those sort of stuff. You know, your tendons, your joints aren't going to cop it because you're lifting too much than the body can actually handle from that muscle group. So there's a place for everything when it comes to what you're wanting to achieve. But for the general guys, tempo of lifting, let's say you're an intermediate advanced lifter. It's been shown, obviously at the moment, a lot of research has come out around negative tempo stuff. It's probably been around for a while, but it's starting to come back around now into the light. That obviously coming down in a controlled negative motion, obviously the lowering part of a motion, and then obviously contracting when we're pushing out. They're saying now that a nice slow, probably 2 to 3 second tempo on that negative is giving that more time under tension on the muscle. So the more time under tension, the more stress it puts on it, the more it breaks down. So then obviously the more it's got to repair, the more it's got to grow, the bigger it gets. So For building muscle, it's a very valuable tool. And when we talk about building muscle, yes, females, males, it's exactly the same, okay? You want to emphasize on building muscle. Now, the rate that female versus male build muscle is completely different. So if you're a female and I tell you we want you to build muscle, don't think you're going to get big and bulky, okay? You're not going to build muscle like Tom next to you, okay? So it's just genetics around male and female. But the idea is to train like you're going to build muscle. So then we build lean muscle tissue. The more muscle tissue you've got, the more fat you'll burn, because it takes obviously more calories or more energy for the body to maintain that muscle. So you burn, your metabolism comes quicker, so you burn more calories throughout a day. So yeah, building muscle, tempo, female, male, it's almost identical. You got to control, as long as you're controlled, you know, you can do 1, 2, 3 down, let's say on a bench press or a chest press, and then like an explosive 1 up where you controlled, and it's 1, 2, 1. So you're all controlled, okay guys? So a lot of people, whether they're drivers, I'll go on a little bit from the tempo side of things, just in regards to form, for making sure your tempo is good, and knowing that is, most people have a job where they're sort of hunched and rolled over, okay? So the idea with the tempo too would be to, when you're, let's say, doing a barbell or a dumbbell chest press, is we're not caving in with our shoulders, we're sticking our chest up and we're controlling it down with our chest. And when we push out, we're driving out with our chest as well, okay? So it's a 1, 2, 3 negative, 1 out, okay? So rule of thumb, like you might pause at the bottom, you might, you know, necessarily not going to really much pause at the top of, let's say, a chest press, just for example, for this one, just because you don't want to lock the elbow joints out. You want to stay just shy of lockout, so tension is still on the chest. So when you're in that tempo, it's tension's on the muscle the whole time you're doing it. Okay, so when you're still at the bottom and you still might pause for a second, tension's still there. When you come out and lock out at the top, tension gets lost. So tempo in relation to time under tension, it is beneficial. You'll see in programs that I'll have like 4 numbers. It'll be like XXXX. So the first number will be obviously where you start the movement at. So it could be like you're starting down here. Okay, so the first movement is a pushing movement. So the tempo might be 1. So you'll see it'll be a 1. The next one will be at the top of the movement. So it might be an X, which means you don't stop, okay, or a 0, however they program the program in. And then the third one will be the eccentric coming down. And then obviously that last one being where you hold. So you have, let's say, 2, 0, X, 0, 2, 0. So 4 numbers, 2, 0, 2, 0. So it's 2, 0, 2, 0, okay? So you might go 2 up, none at the top, 2 down, none at the bottom, so to speak. So usually that's with the tempo way they roll. Otherwise, if you are moving the muscle group and you're, like I say, just getting started, just move. 1, 1, 1, 1. Nice control. As long as you're in control, just move it. If you're struggling going up, like it's like 3 or 4, because it's too heavy, then yeah, like that's going to be detrimental to shoulder joints, that sort of stuff. So purely talking a chest press for here, for a pure example, people know what chest is, people know what dumbbell, barbell presses are. Cool. I think we've rambled on probably enough. 3 decent questions. So gut health, recap, drink plenty of water, eat lots of green leafy vegetables, okay? If you're having ongoing issues, then definitely get it fixed. Like, don't mess around. It's not something that you want to spend the next 12 months diagnosing. But like I say, if you do know that you eat crap, you eat lots of processed food, packet stuff, cut it out and then see what happens. Substitute it for good stuff. Move, do all the good things that we know we should be doing. Like, we are just telling you what you already know, but we're just enforcing it. So it's like, yep, cool, I know I need to do that. Boom, it makes you sort of do it. So be accountable to yourself to make sure that you start eating good food. Because at the end of the day, like, I've had a couple of people come to me in relation to programs. They're getting programs based on strength, but it's like, okay, well, what are you fueling yourself with? Yeah, you want to hit these numbers, but how are you fueling to get to those numbers? So I'm massive on if someone's got a program, they've got both to help, whether it's calories, macros, nutrition plan, whichever it is, whatever they're going to adhere to the best. But as a trainer, they should be giving someone, they're giving them a training program. So that's their output. How do they know what their input is to make sure that output's spot on where it needs to be? Especially if guys have got big targets as well. So whether it's body composition or lifting heavy, whichever, powerlifting, so to speak. But like I say, always reach out. If you're not sure, get the right help. Okay, guys, there's plenty of good guys, especially around the Southwest area. There's some really good guys that can help out, especially with nutrition, gut health, body, if you're injury, all that sort of stuff. So we've got a great affiliation with a lot of people. So if you're not sure where to go, hit us up. We can refer you on to where we think would suit you best. Initial binge, one binge shouldn't put you off track for long-term goals. Just don't make it a regular thing. It's all about making sure that you've got enough in your diet that you shouldn't have to want to crave off and binge as well. So we've seen a lot of stuff come in lately on that as well. So with hormones and all that sort of stuff that push people to certain cravings and all that sort of stuff. And as the females go through that time of cycle of the month and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of in-depth stuff going into that at the moment as well with Carissa and the empowerment girls. And then tempo, so move safely, move the weight, feel good. If you're struggling, come and get a PT session, come and get a session with someone, get someone's advice that's been training for a while that you know in the gym or whichever. But beginning, just move. Move. That's all we can sort of say. Move safely, move in control. And it's the same with intermediate advanced. Like, move with that tempo, but always be in control of the weight. If you're not in control, 9 times out of 10, down the track, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? So there is time and a place for where you should be going heavy and hard, and also time and a place for where you should be in, obviously, good control, contraction of the muscle. So I hope that answers all the questions, guys. We've gone past 20 minutes today. So once again, put your questions in for next week. We'll get them answered. And in the meantime, if you've got anything you need urgently or want to know, make sure you hit us up, comment below, and we will see you all fresh, ready to go. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you.